Hello. Hope all is well wherever you are. So I just got home from work and uh, I opened my window and like the sun is just coming in perfectly and beautifully. This is just everything. So today I was thinking about something because the weather's changing and we're in fall and heading into winter next month. And I was thinking about winter blues actually a couple days ago because there was like 1 week where we had like literally no sun. It was gray clouds every day, all day. And for once in my life, I can't even say, last year because we really didn't have a winter last year, I don't think. But this year, I really took notice to how many gray days we've had since we transitioned from summer into fall. And noticing that I didn't get, sad and all mushy and down and depressed because I have dealt with seasonal depression before. And of course, I had to think back in those days when it was really bad and how like cloudy days, rainy days affected me so horribly, and how much I love being in the sun, how much I love seeing the sun and just uh getting to experience this. I love living in Florida. Like, I haven't been to some other places for sure, and I may be biased towards the Florida sun, but I love it here. I love the weather here. And this is just like one of my most simplest, purest joys of my life. It's just to be here and just sit and just soak this all up. And now I find myself having to take that time because the sun is getting to be less and less as time goes by, which is no problem. I told myself I wasn't going to complain about the weather change because this year we're supposed to get a real winter. Um, Supposedly, it's going to be a cold, wet winter. And I've been mentally preparing myself for that, and also wanting to introduce vitamin D3 into my regimen. I read up on it about it being the sunshine vitamin and also helping with mood fluctuations and everything. So I may add that into my regimen. But I do want to say, just me being myself without necessarily taking anything. Those couple of gray days that we did have, they didn't affect me. Like, I was still happy, I still had joy, I was still grateful and everything. I just know, like, when I think back to when I would be sad and depressed and everything, I was just a mess. And a lot of times I didn't know why. I don't even think I knew I even like made the correlation between the two. I just knew that I hated gray days. I hated cloudy, overcast days. I hated rainy days. I can't stand days where I don't get to feel the sun on my skin. And it would just make me like super, super sad, like to tears. And I remember this one day. This was like one of my worst episodes. But I think I was either coming or going to school, and I was on the city bus. I think I might have been leaving school and heading back home. So I was on the city bus, and like it was just so great. Like I was already feeling anyway. But and there was nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And I just started boo-hoo hollering. And it's like once you start crying, just like a couple of little tears, it just turns into a whole waterfall. And I just couldn't console myself. And all I wanted was just for the sun to just break through the clouds and kiss me. And that's all I wanted. And I had like a bunch of those days, and especially in the wintertime, it's just not fun. It's not fun. And so now with, there being predictions for a real winter this year, even though I feel like I would be all right, I do want to prepare. So just in case. And that's why like I've been very intentional about just making sure I get a little bit of sun when I do see the sun. Because ever since, let me see, maybe the time changed when time went back an hour. And so the sun sets earlier. But like ever since then, I've just noticed. And I don't know why I may be paying attention to that more so now than ever before. I don't know, because it's not like we go through the same seasons every single year. So I'm not sure where I'm coming from with paying so much attention to the sun in the later seasons of the year. It's just something I've noticed. I don't question it. It's okay. But yeah, I feel good. This feels so good. I've been thinking about a lot lately. And like nothing really bad, just about, life and the world and everything that is happening at the same time, and this shift that is occurring. Like I'm feeling the need to pivot in my life once again, and I don't really know in what direction I am supposed to or that I should. And so because I don't know the answer to that, I'm just kind of moving with the flow and just trying to, stay present and be open to the signs and the messages that may come my way. I don't remember the dream, but I had a dream this morning before my alarm woke me up out of it. But I woke up feeling so empowered and like just ready to take on the world. And it was like a fighting for the underdog type thing. And this whole situation with the governments that run our world, I feel like the people are the underdogs, and like some way somehow we're gonna come together to overthrow the system. I don't know why, but that was like the vibe. It was so strong this morning. I was like, and it's just something that I've been thinking about lately, especially like the more that you read and watch about all of this stuff that is happening, all of the all of the unnecessary unaliving that's happening all over the world, suffering. It's just it's just all unnecessary. And I realize I've gone off of what I originally was talking about, but that's okay. Going with the flow. It's just it's just crazy how much greed, power, and corruption exists in the world. It's like you knew, but you really didn't. You just really didn't realize how deep this stuff goes. And I, for one, didn't realize how deep the well goes. And I probably haven't even scratched the surface of the bottom. Like, nowhere near, probably. And I keep telling myself, a lot of this stuff, it looks like conspiracy, but a lot of this stuff still makes too much sense to just be a conspiracy. I'm thankful for the TikTok app. I really, really, really am. Because even outside of keeping up with world news and world happenings, like I've just learned so much. And I mean, like a variety of topics, but especially American and world history. And I tried to keep myself from going down a rabbit hole, which you really can't help because one video leads to something else, and you end up searching for this, and it's just like never ending. And I can say that since becoming aware of all that is happening in these countries across the world, the mass suffering that is happening, the mass, I mean, just brutal. And that's another thing. You would never find this stuff out if it wasn't for TikTok. But like to see so many countries, people suffering at the same time, and no one has a clue outside of this app. No one has a clue what's happening, what's going on. It's just, it's like the veil. It's falling apart. And I, for one, am glad to see it. I don't know. Like, I've seen this. I don't know if I'm going to use the right word. I don't know if it's analogy. But anyway, there's been a lot of comparison to Hunger Games, right? And after that dream this morning, that comparison makes even more sense. I mean, I cannot tell you like how empowered I felt. Like I was ready to put on my war paint and let's go. it was it was it was that impactful. Like, oh, it was just and that's why even though like I don't know exactly what my next life step is, like I feel this sense, it's not even urgency. I just know that there is a slightly different direction that my life is going to take. And that's just for me personally. But the dream feels like there is something universally that is going to happen. And I don't quite know what that looks like other than us truly coming together as one, as a people, to stand up against the systems that have been in place for so many years. I feel like it's all going to fall apart. And in a way, I feel like it needs to. People have been talking about so many different things regarding life here in the United States. And I don't know. It's just, it seems wrong to talk about the plight of the people in this country, um, when there's so much more suffering happening in the world. But that's why I always try to tell myself that, you just shouldn't compare those things, because suffering is suffering. And and it all counts for something. I just I don't know. Sometimes you feel like your hands are tied. Sometimes you feel like you won't need as many people to go against the system, but I feel like the whole country needs to come together. Everybody's country needs to come together. And then you still have so many people that still don't feel like anything is wrong and that things are the way they are, but they don't have to be. I just, I'm not amazed. I'm not shocked. It's just, it amazes me, like, the power and greed, and maybe even the love of money, because I have never believed that money was the root of all evil. I've never believed that, as much as it's the people with the money. It's people. And maybe it's not for me to understand, but as far as like power goes, it's what is the point? Like, what is it that people need to, or what is this need to feel so powerful that you have a hand in the success or detriment of the people? Like, what is that? And honestly, these popping. Ooh. Um, I didn't think about it until I came across. I can't remember the content creator's name, but they were talking about billionaires and how billionaires are bad people. Never really thought about that, and it was just in a sense of like all the things that had to have to be done in the name of becoming a billionaire, I guess. And I get it in a sense. But it's like, and I'm torn between that too, because it's like, even if you have all that money in the world and that you really could, I don't know if it's like, but if enough billionaires came together, they could help their country. And then again, it's not something that they are obligated to do. You can't help how some people feel about certain situations, and if they were in their shoes, what they would do with their money and everything. I just know for like me, I could never, would never strive to be a billionaire. Cause I look at the Amazon guy, Jeff, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but that guy has no children. And it's what what else do you need? It's I mean, I wish I really understood. Why continue to chase the dollar when you have more than you could ever need in the next 7, 8, 10 lifetimes? It's do you ever just say, okay, I got enough. I could just live. I could just be happy, I guess. But again, people, we don't all think alike. We don't all feel the same about certain situations. It just makes you wonder. And I'm just it's just crazy. It really is. Because I feel like I would feel differently if I were in a, the shoes of a millionaire and living in this world and seeing all of this stuff that is happening. Would I be okay with that? And I don't imagine that I would. But the sun is going down. Oh, it is slowly fading over the building. But yeah, it just makes you wonder. Because I've thought about that very briefly, about all of them coming together and helping. But I don't know. And then I don't even, it's I don't trust anything on mainstream media. I've never been for the government. And now, ugh. But yeah, I am for global liberation. I am pro humanity, because between Palestine, Congo, Sudan, like in a couple other countries I can't quite pronounce, but the things that are happening, it's just it ain't right, and it don't have to be. And then for those people in Congo and that stuff being tied to resources and minerals that go into our electronics, it's insanity. It makes you feel a little crazy to bear witness to that. And I don't say that to say oh, this is the first, but this is the first time to be seeing something so massive in real time, and whoa, this is happening right now today. Whereas we learned from our ancestors and from what we were taught in school about America's history, which ain't nothing compared to the reality of everything. Like the stuff we learned in school barely scraped the surface. Because our history is sordid. Oh my goodness. Like, I don't care for holidays. It's just crazy the stuff that I have opened my mind to absorbing in the name of education. It's insane. This country's history. Like, wow. And I'm not a history buff, you know. I don't go seeking this stuff out, but you should. You should because it takes the blinders off to what you thought you knew, only to find out that it runs deep times infinity. It probably never ends. I would go, I mean, as far back as the whole conception of America, it has been atrocious actions since the start. And now, I don't know. That's why I just feel like, ugh, if there was any time that we as the people needed to come together and literally put aside our differences to face off with the system, now is that time, because it will never end as long as we are divided. Mm. That's enough free thinking for today. Happy Monday. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.